A really cool app that can be downloaded from the App Store is called iBooks. iBooks allows the user to read books on the iPad itself, so you can download them straight to your device and start reading. We're going to look at a couple of things today. One is, how do you purchase and download a book to your iPad? The other is, how do you read it? So let's look at that. We're going to find the iBooks app on our screen.
iBooks. Double tap to open.
We're going to double tap to open it.
iBooks. Store button.
There is a store button within the app itself. You can go into the store and search for books and purchase them. We're going to click on that button.
Store. Featured. Library button.
Okay.
Selected. Featured.
Today I'm going to search for some free books on iBooks. I'm going to look first for the search field on this page.
Select release date. Search. Search field. Double tap to edit.
I'm going to double tap to go into an edit mode.
Search field is editing. Search.
Okay, and I'm going to just type in the word free
F-R-E-E.
and press enter or search.
Search. Cancel button.
Okay, I'm going to, using flicking techniques that we've covered in previous videos or your Bluetooth keyboard, you can search, or you can move through the page to look at your search results. So let's look at what results came up.
Search. Free. Search field. Clear text. Books. Heading level 2. Image. Middle school. Get Me Out of Here. Free preview. The first 19 chapters. James Patterson. Chris Tebbets and Laura Park.
Oh, that
Image.
sounds actually good. Maybe we should buy this one.
Middle school. Get Me Out of Here. Free preview. The first 19 chapters. James Patterson. Chris Tebbets and Laura Park. Children's fiction. 4 stars. 1,670 ratings. Button.
Okay, so as you can hear, iBooks actually gives you a lot of information. It gives you, the name of the book. It gives you ratings that it might have received from other readers. And what we're looking for is a button that immediately follows or comes to the right of the books.
Free. Button.
Or the book title, rather. Here, the button is labeled free. In other instances, it would be labeled with the price of the particular book. So I'm just going to tap on the free button.
Free. Get book. Button.
I could just double tap
Get book.
on the Get Book button and it'll download the book to my library. So I'm going to double tap on that.
Get book. Alert. Apple ID.
When you're logging in for the first time in a while, it's going to ask you to input your Apple ID, username and password. And then you can do that and then go to the OK button. Now, even though the book is free, I still need to use my username and password here. This is so that I'm able to track what's happening on my device and what's happening with my account, per se.
Cancel. OK. But. iBooks. Middle school. Get Me Out of Here. Free preview. The first 19 chapters. James Patterson. Chris Tebbets and Laura Park.
And what happens is, as soon as the book is downloaded, the iBooks app moves focus back to my library. So I'm back in my library now, where I can take a look at the different books that I have downloaded here.
Selected. Bookshelf. The Beatles' Yellow Submarine. The Beatles.
Right, the Beatles' Yellow Submarine and
New. Middle school.
Middle School, the Get Me Out of Here book by James Patterson. Now, the new book, which I just downloaded, is actually labeled as new because I haven't actually touched it. So let's go into it and see let's go into and start reading a little bit. So I'm going to double tap on that title and go into it.
Library. Button.
Okay.
Table of contents. Button.
Right, so there's a table of contents,
James Patterson. Chris Tebbets and Laura Park.
the authors,
Middle school. Get Me Out of Here. Free preview. The first 19 chapters. Appearance. Button. Check search. Button.
So within the iBooks app, I can change how it looks. I can change the brightness. We can change the font size. So if you need it to be a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller, you can do that as well. You can play around with it until you reach comfortable levels. Or if you're somebody like myself who the visual appearance doesn't really make a difference, you can go right to the text.
Add bookmark. Books by James.
And yes, you can add a bookmark so you can hold your place, so when you come back to it, it knows where you left off.
Books by James Patterson. Link. For readers.
Look at that, it's trying to sell me some more books.
Page chooser. Page 1. Adjustable.
Okay.
Swipe up or down.
So I'm going to move to the content area, which is
The final warning.
in the center of my screen, and then just using a 2-finger swipe down.
The final warning. Max Thang. Angel. The Daniel X novels. The Dangerous Days of Daniel X with Michael Ledwidge. Watch the Skies with Ned Rust. Demons and Druids with Adam Sedler. Game of Library button.
Okay, so it read me some of the titles available in a James Patterson library.
Image. Page chooser. Game over with Ned Rust.
I'm going to stop it from talking and go to the page chooser because it's giving me some other books by this author, but I actually want to get to this book. So what I do is I'm going to go down to the bottom of the screen where is
Page chooser. Page 3.
there's something called the page chooser. Once I touch the page chooser, the iPad allows me to flick my finger up or down to move between pages.
Page 1. Page 3. Page 5.
Right? So as I flick my one finger down, it moves forward through the book, and in this particular instance, it's moving by 2 pages each flick.
Hachette Book Group, Inc. 2 pages left in this chapter. Link. Page chooser. Page 5. Page 7.
Okay.
Page 9. To start 7th grade in the fall.
Okay, so here we are in our book, and I'm going to just read from the top of this
The authors
chapter.
would like to thank. Link. Whom? Link. Well, who'd have thought so much could change in one summer? Not me. That's for sure. Not my best buddy, Leonardo the Silent. Probably not the folks at Airbrook Arts Community School either. That's where I was supposed to start 7th grade in the fall. Supposed to. You caught that, right? There's a reason my last book was called Middle School. The worst years of my life.
I'm going to stop it. The way I did that was by flicking up with 2 fingers, and what that does is it starts reading at the top of a page or at the top of a chapter, and as you can see, I just paused it, so I'm gonna go back and add a bookmark here.
The authors would add bookmark, library, button, take James Patterson, middle school, appearance, search, remove bookmark.
Now the add bookmark button has been changed to remove bookmark, so it's keeping my place in the book so that next time I come back to this book, I can pick up where I left off. Let's go back to the main screen. I want to kind of take a look at Yellow Submarine because it's a graphic novel, but it also comes with audio recording, so it allows the user to kind of follow along the images, and for those of us who can see a little bit, you can see some of the imagery, and you can see some of the text being highlighted as the reader is reading along. So
Search button.
Let's go back to that.
Appearance, middle school, James Patterson, table of library button.
Okay, we're going to go back to our library.
Middle school. The Beatles' Yellow Submarine.
And we're going to go to the Beatles' Yellow Submarine.
Table of library button.
Okay, and now that book is loaded, and we're going to look for
Table of Yellow Submarine. Audio options.
Okay, whenever there's an audio options button, it means that there's an audio component to this particular book. So I'm going to open up this menu.
Read 100%. Read aloud. Heading.
Okay,
Turn pages. Automatically. Button.
right. So now I can tell the device whether or not I want it to do the work for me. So all I have to do is just sit here and kind of listen and watch, and or I can set it to do it manually so that I get to do the work myself. It's my choice.
Start reading. Button.
And I'm going to go to the Start Reading button, and I'm just going to press that button.
Table of live.
Captain Fred ran for his life as the crowd scattered. The meanies are coming! The meanies are coming! Those who dared to stay were beaten blue and blue by the glove, or frozen like colourless statues. The chief blue meanie gloated. If music be the food of glove, play on.
Table of the Beatles' Yellow Submarine.
Okay, and I can just stop it just by pressing the spacebar on my keyboard. Now, iBooks takes a little getting used to. There's a lot of content areas, or there's a lot of little panels on the window itself. So there's the page chooser, and then the main content, and some of the other buttons and things like that. So it will take some getting used to kind of navigate around, but it's definitely worth a try because it really gives a lot of access to the printed word.